I am Andrew Margenot. I'm a soil scientist and faculty member at the U of I at Urbana-Champaign. And I'm here today to talk with you about manure, nutrient losses, and water quality, what the science says about the Illinois nutrient loss reduction strategy. The state's nutrient loss reduction strategy discusses ways that we can reduce nutrient losses to surface waters of our state. It focuses on two major nutrients, the nutrient of nitrogen as nitrate nitrogen, and the nutrient of phosphorus as total phosphorus. These are very different nutrients in terms of how they behave and how much is lost. Nitrate moves quickly. In contrast, phosphorus moves a lot more slowly. We lose most of our nitrate nitrogen via leaching to subsurface drainage tiles. Most of it will be moving downward until it finds a tile, and then it exits with the tile water out of the field. For phosphorus, most of our phosphorus is lost via the surface and as sediment-bound form. We're not really talking so much about dissolved phosphorus, but we're talking more about phosphate bound to soil particles. So as a result of these different pathways, we have to consider that there are different ways to mitigate the flow of these nutrients off of fields. The main evidence-based method we have for reducing the loss of nitrate is through cover cropping. Most cover crops in general favor lower losses of nitrate by scavenging the nitrate in the profile. Now for manure, fall applying by injecting paired with a cover crop is a great way to ensure that we retain the nitrate that will result from the manure. In the case of phosphorus, the major name of the game is to stem the loss of soil. Really, it's about soil conservation. If we stem the loss of soil, which is a great thing in general for land value, we also have benefits to stemming the loss of the phosphorus from the applied manure. Ways to do this are well known. Reduce tillage. Skipping chisel tillage in the fall, especially after soybean, is a pretty clear low impact on yield practice. There can be field scale practices like using berms or terracing on sloped land to reduce the kinetic energy. Basically, the more water can flow and pick up speed on the surface, the more that will lead to eventual loss of soil. Manure is a very important source of fertility for cropping systems in Illinois and elsewhere in the world. It contains nitrogen, phosphorus, but also other macronutrients like potassium and sulfur, as well as micronutrients, and finally, organic matter. Evidence suggests the following as best practices for the use of manure to reduce nutrient losses while also providing sufficient nutrients for crop production. The first is placing the manure. It's ideal to apply it in the springtime and ideally to put it beneath the surface. The other consideration is testing. You should know what your content of nitrogen and phosphorus is, both the total amounts and the plant available amount. Once you've tested and once you know what your N and P content is of the manure, is to try to apply it as a source of phosphorus. And that's because there's simply proportionally more phosphorus than there is nitrogen relative to what the crop needs. Now, when we apply these manures on a P basis, we typically have a gap in how much nitrogen we need, and that's where supplemental N can be useful. That can be applied either pre-plant as UAN or as a side dress around V6 to V8 for corn. And that last scenario, the evidence suggests, is optimal both for crop use efficiency, but also to mitigate losses of nitrogen as well as phosphorus to surface waters.